The next 3 days are going to be crucial for firefighters working nonstop to contain California's deadly wildfires as arson investigators look into whether the blaze was man-made.
A list of proposed changes are out for some short-term rental owners. Why this potential change would give the city of Austin more regulating power.
And we'll be seeing temperatures warm up a little bit through the work week, but by next weekend, a different story for Texas. We'll show you the latest trends of this Arctic blast that could be on the way.
And thanks so much for joining us tonight at 10 o'clock. I'm Daniel Marin.
And I'm Jennifer Sanders. We told you first here on KXAN that the city of Austin was looking to overhaul its short-term rental regulations. So think Airbnb or Vrbo. Well, the city's proposed changes are now out and they're pretty significant.
KXAN's Grace Reeder breaks them down for us tonight.
The city of Austin says recent court decisions have made Austin's current short-term rental regulations, quote, unenforceable. That includes a 2023 lawsuit we told you about, filed by a Houston couple over Austin's ordinance that prohibited people from operating a short-term rental without living on the property. A judge sided with the couple then, saying Austin's rule was unconstitutional.
I represent hundreds or thousands at this point of citizens of Texas who believe that it is unconstitutional to ban anyone from renting out their house for short terms.
Now, the city is overhauling its short-term rental rules in an attempt to give itself regulatory teeth. Those proposed changes include cleaning up the short-term rental regulations in our land development code and moving the rules to our city's business code instead, making it so that to operate a short-term rental on a property with 3 or fewer units, the license holder must be an individual. And if the individual wants to operate more than one short-term rental in Austin, they need to space them out by at least 1,000 feet. It would also require platforms to collect the same tax, called hotel occupancy tax, that regular hotels collect from customers.
One of the elements of the ordinance is that the platforms will require hosts to provide the license number in the advertisement and will delist properties that are not licensed upon request from the city.
The city said short-term rentals with an existing permit will be allowed to continue as long as properties do not become a nuisance and ownership remains the same. According to the city, there are roughly 2,200 active licenses right now. Grace Reeder, KXAN News.
And the city of Austin has information sessions on these changes starting next week. One of them is virtual, the others are in person. The city will also take public input next month. We have all the details in this story at KXAN.com. We did reach out to major short-term rental companies to get their feedback about the proposed changes. Vrbo got back to us tonight saying in part, quotes, Vrbo, part of the Expedia Group family, supports balanced short-term rental laws, and we are reviewing the new changes proposed by the city of Austin. They also said that they're committed to policies that balance the needs of the community and the tourism economy. Going in depth, when you get your purple slip in the mail about the short-term rental proposals, you're also going to be getting proposed changes tied to the city's Home Part 1 initiative. In late 2023, the Austin City Council approved the first iteration of the Home Initiative. It would allow up to 3 units to be built on a single-family lot and would create a preservation bonus with the goal of slowing the demolition of existing homes. Well, the proposed changes would allow a property owner to exclude the square footage of their existing home from maximum square footage limitations if they preserve the existing structure. Those proposed changes will be discussed starting in April.
Winds continue to be a big threat in the catastrophic California fires. Here's a look at the conditions from earlier tonight. Santa Ana winds are set to cause critical fire conditions over the next 3 days across parts of LA as that region continues to battle historic and deadly blazes. So here's what we know about the wind-fed wildfires tonight. 24 people are now dead. The largest blaze, the Palisades fire, is 14% contained. The Super Scooper plane that was damaged after a drone crashed into it last week is headed back in the air tomorrow. As far as a cause, NBC News is citing law enforcement sources that investigators are looking into the possibility of fireworks or unauthorized campers may have played a role in starting the blaze. Fire officials are investigating a previous fire in Palisades on New Year's Day that burned at least 9 acres before the fire department put it out.
And the evacuation and warning zones are inching a little closer to downtown Los Angeles. The latest zones are about 15 miles away. You can see that pinkish reddish area on the map. That's the evacuation orders that are in effect for 92,000 residents. That yellow area shows the evacuation warning zone for 89,000 people, meaning they may need to be ready to leave at a moment's notice. And this ring video shows the intensity of the firestorm surrounding the back porch of this home. The Associated Press reports this video was from last Tuesday, and it appears that the homeowner was away when the home caught fire.
People who live in the Palisades neighborhood are back to see what's left, and some say they're surprised the fire reached in an area that they were told was safe.
This was the safe part of the Palisades. You know, we're no flood zone.
There's not much that I found here. All I have is like this bag, a lemon, some metallic sprinkler heads just to make my 89-year-old mother feel better, that I salvaged them.
FEMA is warning people in the area to be aware of criminals trying to take advantage of the situation.
And firefighters from all over Central Texas are already in California helping battle the wildfires. A group arrived late last night to join the fight.
And Williamson County Emergency Services District 5 Jarrell Fire and Rescue posted these pictures on its Facebook page. The photos show a caravan with a strike team deployed to Los Angeles over the weekend. Now, Austin Fire says a strike team from Central Texas is assigned to the Palisades fire. That's the biggest fire burning in the Los Angeles area. They added that our firefighters from Central Texas will be up there for 21 days, up to 21 days. And AFD says 540 engines, 115 hand crews, 60 water tenders, and more than 40 helicopters and more than 60 dozers are working the Palisades fire.
They work 24 hours on, and then they would get 24 hours off. It's what we're here for. We're here to serve.
Houses burned down to the ground, stores burned down to the ground. We can look and see the devastation on the faces of those that have lost a lot of property.
AFD says that after the 21 days, they could send more firefighters to relieve those who are there now. Mexico has 73 firefighters helping contain the Palisades fire. They arrived Saturday and received training over the weekend. CAL FIRE says they are thankful for the added manpower from Mexico, Canada, as well as nearby states.
Right, we have Tommy House in for Nick Bannon tonight, and you were saying we're going to be kind of normal, maybe warm up a little bit before we take a dive into the cold again.
Yeah, really not too much to talk about this week weather-wise, at least through the work week. And Friday, maybe some showers, Tuesday into Wednesday. Warming up Friday, but big changes by this next week. And I want to start off with current conditions right now. Here's the Austonia weather camera zoomed in on the Capitol there. It's going to be a busy next few days for the downtown Austin area itself. Temperatures were pretty nice today. They were a little bit seasonable on the cooler side, but overall right now 43. How about the 30s out and about? 32 in Dripping Springs, already freezing there. Gillespie County 33, Llano 37, east of I-35, closer to Milam, Lee, and Fayette County, some 40s out and about. LaGrange at 40, and then down toward Bastrop 42 degrees at this hour. Clouds and radar, there has been nothing to talk about. This goes out 12 hours, but notice toward the end of the radar loop, you'll see some increase in clouds that will build in overnight tonight throughout your Tuesday, and maybe some showers Tuesday night into Wednesday. Temperature-wise, we'll warm back up tomorrow to the mid-50s and upper 50s, and then back down to the 30s again to kick off the day tomorrow. 34 at 7 a.m. by noon, 51, and then by 4 p.m. 58. We'll keep that partly cloudy trend that's going to be lasting throughout your Tuesday. And here is what I'm tracking coming up. Midweek showers, a few chances for some rain, not only Tuesday night into Wednesday, but also a warm-up 70s on Friday, but that's going to change with that Arctic front moving through. I'll share the latest trends on that coming up here in First Warning Weather.
All right, Tommy, thank you so much. Confirmation hearings for President-elect Donald Trump's cabinet nominees start tomorrow.
Defense Secretary nominee Pete Hegseth is expected to be grilled over past accusations. He denies allegations of sexual assault, alcohol abuse, and financial mismanagement. Now, some Democrats also question Hegseth's qualifications, while Republican senators have rallied behind him.
He will be ripped, but we're going to get him across the finish line. I'm here today to tell you I'm 110% behind Pete Hegseth.
If you just look at his work experience, the largest organization that I can find that he's ever run was a platoon.
This week, the Senate is set to hold more than a dozen hearings for the president-elect's cabinet picks. Inauguration Day is 1 week from today.
Special Counsel David Weiss's final report on Hunter Biden was released today. Weiss was the special counsel who charged Hunter Biden with gun and tax crimes before the pardon from President Joe Biden. The report included criticism of President Biden's decision to pardon his son. Biden described the prosecution of his son as, quote, a miscarriage of justice, while the report said, quote, other presidents have pardoned family members, but in doing so, none have taken the occasion as an opportunity to malign the public servants as the Department of Justice based solely on false accusations. Going on to say that the Constitution does not give the president the authority to rewrite history.
Tomorrow, state lawmakers gavel in for the next legislative session. And today, the Texas Comptroller announced lawmakers will have a nearly $24 billion surplus to work with as they set the state budgets. The only thing lawmakers are required to do by law in any session is to pass the budget. One expert says the funding will allow the state to address certain infrastructure issues.
We have an opportunity to start taking big, meaningful steps in terms of how to fund our water infrastructure, water supply challenges that we are anticipating over the next few decades.
And today, Lieutenant Governor Dan Patrick said his focus with the surplus is more property tax cuts and raising teacher pay. House Democratic Caucus Chair Jean Wu called for funding public schools and providing health care. And both Patrick and Wu called for making improvements to the state's electric grid.
An Austin ISD school campus shut down in 2020 is being repurposed. It just needs final approval from the school board. And trustees are voting to approve a long-term lease with United Way of Greater Austin to use Pease Elementary. Under that plan, United Way will operate a year-round early childhood education center. United Way's presentation said the center is going to serve 130 infants through pre-K children and prioritize underserved populations. United Way's goal is to have the center open in 2 years after its renovations. This is a look at the renderings of that project. The initial partnership was approved in 2023, but the board's vote on the lease is set for January 30th. Public comment is scheduled this Thursday and on the 30th before the vote.
Hundreds of thousands of dollars worth of checks in the mail stolen from multiple Austin businesses, and the theft was caught on camera.
KXAN Sarah Alshay spoke with a business owner who saw the whole thing.
She's walking to my mailbox.
Video capturing the front of Mohammed Mehdi Bouzari's business, AC Auto Electric in North Austin.
That's her taking my mail, and that's me running, chasing her.
Bouzari says 3 days into the new year, a woman stole his mail. He also told us she hid a neighboring business's mail at the same time.
And people pay us by mail or, our own, bills. People got to get paid and they get, we rely on mail service.
They wouldn't be the only ones. According to an Austin police arrest affidavit obtained by KXAN, a woman allegedly stole a total of $300,000 worth of money checks in the mail from multiple businesses. Court documents say police found mail from more than 50 different addresses in the woman's bags, along with multiple checks to several businesses, personal Christmas cards, bills to multiple addresses, and 7 credit cards belonging to 7 different people. This situation leaving Bouzari extra vigilant of his mailbox.
Let me check it.
Looking in it every day. Collecting it before a thief hits him again.
Maybe you should put a lock on our mailboxes or just tell them to bring it handed to us.
Sarah Alshay, KXAN News.
And according to the affidavit, 39-year-old Rashika Brandyberg was arrested and charged with mail theft, first-degree felony, and that's because she allegedly had mail from more than 50 addresses in her possession.
A Texas man arrested and accused of stalking WNBA star Caitlin Clark is expected to be in court tomorrow. Authorities say 55-year-old Michael Lewis from Denton was arrested Sunday in Indianapolis. Lewis has been charged with felony stalking after contacting Clark on social media. Authorities say the messages included numerous threats and were sexually explicit. Investigators say Clark told them she was fearful and severely impacted by the threats.
Well, some good news now about the battle against cedar fever. We are near the halfway point of the season, and if you're struggling with the eye irritation or an itchy nose, here's what an allergist with St. David's North Austin Medical Center recommends you can do from home.
Now is the time to change your air filter if you haven't done that in a while. Number one. Number two is we always focus on the bed because you bring that pollen onto the bed, into the pillow, into the mattress, and so you change your sheets once a week. You wash them in hot water. If you have pets in the house, be mindful that whatever's outside the dog will bring inside, for example. So, keep the pets out of the bed if you can.
Hey, the season typically runs from the beginning of November and lasts all the way through the beginning of March.
All right, I've been kind of having some sniffles lately. I wonder if it could be part of that.
But if you're almost, almost at the finish line with that.
All right, Tommy joining us now with another look at weather.
Yeah, I mean, I was just going to say real quick, up north, I'm allergic to maple. That's not a thing here.
Yeah.
I'm grateful I'm not allergic to cedar, but I've heard, and everyone around the studio has some sort of cedar experience. Let me show you what's going on right now, at least weather-wise. Let me take you to Bee Cave. Here's Cover Bee Cave Auto Mall with this shop. We have some mostly clear skies, and temperatures will begin to cool down throughout the next few hours, may even get down to freezing in the Austin area. So let's talk about current conditions and continue to see what's going on right now. 43 in Austin. We have some mostly clear skies and calm winds, humidity at 38%, and those temps will just continue to go down. Today was a seasonable day. 57 was the high temperature. 62 is where we should be this time of year, so about 5 degrees cooler. Not much to talk about across the country. Alberta Clipper up toward portions of the Midwest and Northeast, and a few coastal showers down toward places like Florida and southern Georgia. But looking at the Lone Star State, there's no rain, just some clouds down toward the valley that are going to try to move up to the north overnight tonight. Right now, 43 in Austin, 40 Georgetown, near or at freezing in Gillespie County, Lampasas, and even east of I-35, dealing with a few places in the 30s and low 40s. Now, tomorrow morning, let's have a look here. Bundle up when you send off the kids to school. 31 in Cameron, 34 down in Giddings, 35 in LaGrange, 31 in Georgetown, and farther out west toward places like Llano and San Saba, we're dealing with the 20s tomorrow morning. But by the afternoon hours, different story, kind of like today and yesterday, upper 50s for highs. Winds will be out of the east at 5 to 10 miles per hour. And wildfire, not too much of a concern here. Level 2 out of 5 and a level 1 out of 5 for most of the hill country out and about for your Tuesday. All right, your 3-day forecast, 55 on Wednesday. I'm timing a little bit of some shower activity Tuesday through Wednesday morning, and then Thursday 61 with a 10% chance of rain. Our high resolution model is putting some cloud cover in place throughout your day on Tuesday, and then watch what happens. A little bit of some rain activity tries to build its way in. It's not going to be heavy, and it's very hit and miss, just some pieces of some light shower activity. That should be clearing out by Wednesday night, heading off into your Thursday. When it's all said and done, I actually moved that 1/10 of an inch to a 1/4 of an inch line farther east toward Bastrop and Lockhart and Fayette County, and then less than 1/10 of an inch for the metro area and most of the hill country. All right, rain coverage goes pretty much from 20%, 10% back down to 0 Friday, Saturday through next weekend. And overall, pretty quiet weather pattern across the next few days. That Alberta Clipper moves way offshore. And then by Thursday and Friday, could be dealing with some warmer than normal temperatures through most of the central states. But here we go. Arctic blast, big dip in the jet stream. That's a trough that's going to dig deep through the northern plains and open the door for some pretty frigid air to last for probably 3 to 4 days on end in our area. For us, that means high temperatures in the 40s. This isn't anything too crazy, not a 2021 event by any sort of means. These highs will go from the 50s to the 60s and then back down to 42 by Monday. We'll fine-tune these details, still considering it's 6 days out. We will see some adjustments in temperature, not expecting winter weather at this time. 35 tonight, partly cloudy and cold. Winds will be calm. Winds out of the east tomorrow, back up to the upper 50s with some mostly cloudy skies. And here's your first warm weather 7-day forecast. The temperature roller coaster, as I say, a little cooler on Wednesday. Then we warm back up to the upper 60s, near 70 degrees on Friday, and then the front moves through from the 60s to the 40s by next weekend.
This is KXAN Sports, brought to you by Thomas J. Henry.
Yeah, a lot of discussion, but the Mike McCarthy era is over in Dallas after 5 years. Didn't get fired. His contract expired. He and Jerry Jones never got to the negotiating point, so he's free to look, and Jerry Jones is searching for a new head coach. McCarthy came in 5 years ago, led them to 3 12-win seasons. They won 3 division titles, only 1 playoff win, navigated this year after Dak Prescott went down. In fact, Dak Prescott's missed 26 games under McCarthy, and they were 500 in those 26 games. But in the end, they decided that they were going to part ways. Now, how about this news tonight? One of the reports out of ESPN, Deion Sanders talking with Jerry Jones. In fact, the report is the talks will continue. Of course, Deion, head coach at Colorado. Longhorn football news, Matthew Golden will go pro. He could have come back for another year. The Houston transfer was lights out, 9 touchdowns, nearly 1,000 yards. He is projected as a top 2-round draft in the NFL. Big question coming up, Quinn Ewers. Does he go to the NFL draft? Does he go to the portal, get a big payday at another school? Appears like his days at Texas are obviously over with the Arch Manning era. We should know that soon. Austin FC opened up training camp today. It is a new era. Nico Estevez, the new head coach, 4 years under Josh Wolf, 1 playoff appearance, and now they'll try to get things turned back around with a veteran of MLS.
Well, I think it's always an advantage. I think I know very well this group and mostly all the teams in MLS through my experience here in the last years, and I think it's good. But I always want to give the opportunity, and this is one of the focus that I want to have this first week is the players express themselves and then show their qualities and then what they're capable to do, and as coaches learn from the training pitch more about them and then how we can feed their qualities and into the team.
From what I take away from the players that I play with him, they've all really enjoyed playing, under him. Obviously, I wanted to form my own opinion, and I've gotten to know him over the last few days, and we've all liked him as players, as a group, right away. We're excited for his tactics that he's going to implement, and I think, as a group, we're going to have big goals for this year.
Preseason game a week from tomorrow in Florida.